How would you know if you're being scammed? If someone's trying to con you, there's usually some certain signs. It tends to follow a kind of pattern. So I want to tell you the main points. There could be others as well, but I'll tell you the main points so you'll know how to spot if you're being scammed. Now that could be an individual trying to scam you, or it could be the government, or a kind of world agenda. Some of those I personally think are scams. You'll see why in a minute. So the very first thing is, you ask yourself, does the person doing whatever, trying to tell you something, do they stand to gain by what they're saying? Are they going to profit from it? Probably be a financial gain, won't it? So is this person or organisation or government or whatever, are they going to gain financially? So that's one of the main things. If they're going to make billions out of it, then you'd always have to think, is there another reason, an ulterior motive behind it? I would always question it personally. I know many people just take everything, oh yeah, the government say it, this scientist said it, must be true. Well, maybe, or maybe not. So the first thing is the person going to gain from what they're trying to push upon you? Does it seem feasible in some way? Is it kind of realistic? Does it sound like it has a feasibility about what they're saying? So that's the next thing. The next one after that would be, is there any evidence that a similar type of scam has happened before? Maybe the same people, you know? Like you might say, what's happening now, net zero, does that have any connection to what happened during COVID? Maybe. I'm just putting it out there. There's also, they usually try and activate an emotion within people. So it's usually one of the main emotions. The main two are fear or greed. Possibly guilt as well, that would be a third one. There may be others, but those would be the main emotions. Then they'll try and put an urgency upon it. So it has to be done quick. There's an urgent thing, so you've got to rush into your response. I mean, that's another common one when you're being scammed. So what else would there be? There would also be, they would try and only give you information from their point of view. You won't be, they don't want you to see any other facts, any other information from any other source. So they'll try and prevent that in some way. When it comes to these world agendas, most people don't even bother checking for themselves. I mean, there's so much information out there. You can find all sorts if you can be bothered, but most people just can't be bothered, you know. So if you can't be bothered, there's no discussion with you because you've got no argument. You're just quoting a narrative. That's meaningless. But if you've done a huge amount of independent research, then maybe you've got a point, you've got an argument, you know, you can discuss things. So those are the main things. Often they will try and shut you down or silence you if you've got a different opinion, or they would probably come up with weaponized expressions. We all heard them, there's so many. And if you hear somebody call you by one of these weaponized expressions or sayings, then you know that that person is just supporting a narrative. They're possibly supporting a scam, because they didn't come up with the expression, it was given to them for that very purpose, from people supposedly in positions of power, such as, are you a whatever denier, or are you an anti-whatever, or if you don't agree that Britain should become a Muslim country, then apparently that makes you racist. Does it really? Can't we have a discussion? Or maybe if someone is not, they don't see themselves the way they were born, you know, is that something we can discuss? Apparently not. You're just then a bigot, you know. You see where I'm going with this. I could use an example, say with the weather, for example. Oh no, it's going to be a catastrophe. Well, I don't think so, personally. I've not noticed much change in my lifetime, and I'm kind of getting on a bit now. But you could also say, okay, if you research it, all sorts of things come to mind. But it fits all the boxes that I've just mentioned as a scam. So it ticks every box of a scam, but somehow it's not a scam. Really? It's like it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, but it's not a duck. Yeah, right. So I don't believe in this particular one to do with the weather. The Bible actually says, I think it's 46 or 47 verses where the Bible mentions that God controls the weather. And that's what I believe. You know, we're not God. It's a man trying to make himself into God. Could be something behind this as well. Who wanted to replace God?
Satan. So maybe Satan is behind it if we're trying to push that, we're now the new God. We don't need God anymore because we are gods. That's what we're starting to hear. So, do your own research. I've actually mentioned bits about CO2 on another video because there's quite a few points I could mention on that. So I'm just doing the generic watching out for a scam. Most people can be scammed quite easily, which is why it's very dangerous, especially if it's things which are going to alter our society, our way of life, the things that we've taken for granted for decades or even hundreds of years, could all be taken from us. And it's like a very big scam if they do, isn't it? So I just wanted to put those points out there. So give them a bit of thought and see how they relate to all the things that are going on in the world. See if they tick these boxes. I'll mention some specific ones, as I said, on future videos, but it might take a few minutes to go through that, so I won't say it now. I'll just watch out for that. So if you don't want to miss any, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the videos, whatever. So I'd just like to wish you peace. It's still Easter Sunday as I'm filming this, actually. I was going to have a complete day off, but I just thought, well, I had the tripod set up in a position so I would use it before I put it away. Next video might be several days away. So I basically want to multiply peace and God's grace towards you today from God our Father and from Jesus Christ our Lord. So praise be to Jesus. I'll see you again soon.